Hi, it's Kerry from Mobilates, and I'm here with you for about 30 minutes of really gentle exercise. Get yourself moving. Things might have been a bit different recently, especially if you've had a bit of a break for Easter or you've been staying somewhere different. Things that, it's the first sort of bank holiday of the year, so you might have just had a few changes. So let's get our bodies all back to either where they were or let's make it better. Let's start standing or sitting, legs comfortable distance. So you can do this class from standing position, you can do it from sitting on a chair, you could do it from sitting on the edge of a bed, because about halfway through we're going to lie down, and you could be lying down on a mattress, probably not a duvet, it gets a bit squishy, bit of firmness, so just the mattress itself with the sheet on it, or you might be lying down on a mat on the floor. We're going to take our time. Right, I'm going to keep a little lookout here. The blurry vision is just keeping an eye on anyone diving in and saying hi and letting me know how you are. First one in is Barbara. Hello. And then Irene. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. Right, let's get started. This one is so easy. As you inhale, you raise your palms up. As you exhale, press them down. Inhale, breathe in. Send that breath to your belly. Exhale, breathe out through your mouth. A bit like you're trying to whistle, no sound. Or no whistle. So as you inhale, it's like you're filling up your belly, even lower down, the whole internal sort of cavity fills up, that area, all down to your pelvic floor. That pressure fills up as your diaphragm moves down and your lungs have a bit more room. And then as you exhale, everything sort of goes back into place. Diaphragm jumps up. So let's keep it going. You might have noticed I've closed my eyes. You can if you want to. 2 more. Slow it down if you can. Especially the exhale. That's where the magic is, that long exhale. I'll allow myself another breath. Right, let's start to bring our feet in. In come my feet. Now they're standing parallel, pointing forwards. There's a small gap I could fit a paperback book. I've even got something to hand. This is like my little notebook. You can see how that fits just between my feet. So whether you're sitting or standing, it's a really good sort of visual thing to imagine. Right, let's go into some pelvic tilts. I like my hands on my hips and my knees a little bit soft for this. So we're going to breathe in, send it to the belly again. As you breathe out, think of almost like your bum is dropping down a little bit and then it's tipping forwards. Now I find as I do this, my legs like to come forwards, and I don't want my legs to come forwards as well. So I like to put my hands on my legs, and then I really see my back starts to move. When this happens, it's just my hips moving. They're quite good at the moving. My lower back gets a bit stiff. So if I put my hands here, now if you are sitting, you won't have that problem because your legs can't move forward so much. What I would suggest if you're sitting is imagine your bottom rolling back like a ball. So it's rolling that way a little bit, and then it rolls forward slightly. And as you're doing that, you're trying not to collapse. So if you roll back and it goes like this, everything starts squishing up. We want to keep that feeling of height and length as we roll back and roll forwards. You might feel yourself just fall off the knobbly bits of your bottom, the sitting bones, and then you go forwards again. Last one, just tuning into how your back feels. And then we'll grow a little taller. So feel your feet downwards. See if you can press right to the outside of your feet, right to the little toes. I would wave my little toes, but they don't don't want to come off the floor. Hi, Jean, no worries, you're here. Lovely to have you. Hope you're well. Right, so we've grown tall, giving my feet that little press into the floor. This is where a mat with a bit of squish is nice because I can feel some of my feet in memory foam or something like that. Right, let's have a little tap on the back of your head. Now, I want you to imagine, I don't know if any of you do stamping, and I mean like using an ink pad. You know, when you tap against an ink pad, you're tapping the little thing you stamp. And if you don't know, imagine an old-fashioned date stamper tamping against a little ink pad. So imagine there's an ink pad on the back of your head and you're just tamping, or your back of your head is a pad and I'm tamping an ink pad onto it. I think I've tamped enough. Right, close your eyes. Now, with the imaginary ink at the back of your head, draw an arc. So it's going to be a little bit like a sort of rainbow shape, like a bit of a flattened rainbow. And take it super slowly. And check that you're still breathing. You haven't just held your breath. On this next one, as the last one, I'd like you to roll your neck. So I like to roll from one side to the other. My range is not massive. It's a sort of in-betweeny range. You may have more range than me. You may have less. We're all different. We go with what we're getting today. And I'm opening my eyes for this one. You could keep them closed if it feels okay. Last one. Rolling up. And then let's take shoulder rolls. I'm going one each side and then the other because I'm going to increase this sort of movement. But I'm also going for some forwards ones as well as backwards. And I'm allowing my waist to turn. The legs are staying where they are at the moment. Breathing whenever you feel like it. And then let's start to make this bigger. So you could have your elbows sort of drawing circles backwards. See, my feet are starting to move a little bit now. If I show you from the sides, you can see my legs starting to move. I'm going to take it forwards as well. You could also have your hands up on your shoulders. Oh, that feels super nice, especially if your shoulders get a bit cranky. And a little bit forwards. And then let's come down to our feet. I'm going to come down just a little bit more so you can really see mine. I've got high contrast socks on today. All my toes are wiggling free in those socks because there's those ones that have a little bit for each toe. Right, lifting your toes up and down and as high as you want to. I have arthritis in my big toes, just a little bit, and sometimes they don't want to go so far up. Or they might do one and then they're like, oh, that's enough. Oh, that's okay. Just bring a bit of movement into them. And then we're going to rock forwards and backwards, keeping those toes all down. And I'm trying not to let them go into this little grippy cat claws sort of position. My whole body's going forwards and backwards. You can definitely hold on to something. And if I was sitting, I would have my hands on my chest. You could even tuck the feet back a little, almost like you're about to stand up, but you're not going to. Or have your hands here at the side. And you could have your bum just coming slightly off the chair if that's comfortable. If that's too much for the legs, just take the weight forwards, but not enough to lift the bum up. And then we're going to lift the feet up a little, one at a time. And then I want you just to lift one foot up. And that foot's flat, like you're just trying to pat it on the floor and lift it up. And if you're standing, it's a bit of a balance. I'm just lifting that foot and I'm trying not to do this or this. I'm trying to be quite even. You can see my top horizontal here. And then lift that foot enough to just clear the floor. And we're going to circle or wiggle your ankle. Any clicks? I think I might have just given that a little click. And then take that down, have a little wiggle, give your feet a little press into the floor, bring out your inner cat, kneading the surface, and then we'll lift the other foot just off the floor. So my body wants to do this, and I'm just encouraging these hips to be even. That's why I put my hands here. Little tamp up and down. There's a lot of tamping today. Didn't know that was going to be the key word of the session. And then up enough off the floor to give you this circle. Now, if you're sitting and it's difficult to lift your leg up, you can certainly use your hands to help. It might be you need to do that because your leg feels extra heavy, or it's just really difficult to lift it. You can give it assistance. And then take it down. Then we're going to bring an arm forwards and open it out. So my palm turns almost like it's giving a very soft stop sign towards the back of the room. I'm letting my body turn. So my feet stay facing forwards. If you have osteoporosis, make this fairly gentle. You don't want to keep everything facing forwards here and twist like this. You're letting your hips turn with you. And then that makes it an exercise with some rotation, but it's not putting your spine at risk. Last one. And we're going to come to the other side. And we'll give our heels a little raise up and down. Could be tiny ones, little quick up and downs, or you could go high and low. Anything you want to grab onto to help yourself balance. And just start to feel it build up in your calves. As you're doing this, I don't want you to be on the outside or on the inside. It's trying to feel your big toe down and your little toe down. So sort of either ends of your foot. Just feel that cramp moving into my calves. So we're going to stop. We're going to take the legs a little wider. Take the arms up in prayer. Well, the hands are in prayer. The arms sort of come up to join them. You can even sit yourself a little further down. Then we'll look like we're all in the chair. See, I've got my baggy pants on today. That crotch is somewhere down to the floor. And now we're going to sort of explode outwards. And then this time we're going to turn a little for that. And turn a little the other way, like a firework. One more each way. And then let's straighten our legs if we're standing. Stay as you are if you're seated. And we're going to slide down one side and slide down the other, coming up tall in between. We could make this into a little teapot. Reaching out to the side. And what I really like you to concentrate on is this side bit that the hand is reaching out. You're sort of pushing that outwards and expanding it rather than reaching so far over. So really think about getting this bit big and have a breath into it. You might even feel the breath reach the back of your ribs. Last one. And then send your bum behind you and your arms forwards. Stand. Forwards and stand. Now I'm going quite low. I quite like these. Could be like this. Could be just sending a little bit back, like you're just closing a drawer that's nearly shut behind you. Or it could be that drawer's got a long way to go. That's when you send it further back. If you're sitting, we could have our hands here. We could reach our arms slightly forwards. We could reach them forwards and up. That's heavier, more effort. And then we're going to add a little leg raise in between. So we're going to step out if we're seated. And if you're standing, breathe anytime you feel like it. We're not doing too many of these. Last one each side. And then give your hips a little bit of a wiggle. And then give your wrists a little bit of a wiggle. Gentle fists. And then start to take your arms and hands outwards. We're keeping them just below shoulder height, but that's going to get bigger. I'm going to turn to the side to give you a bit more body movement, leaning back, coming forwards. It's like a sort of little seesaw sort of feel. And there's that hip hinge with your bottom going backwards and forwards, or your hips. And you could make this bigger and more expansive. And let's make one more, as big as you want to. And then we're going to take it down to the floor. So I'm going to change my angle. You might take this to a bed. I'm going to leave my chair here for reasons I shall reveal shortly, for another way to do something. But first, let's move my planner down, move my clock down. I will say the changing of the clocks, I just have to go with all this, trying to remember how to change all the digital clocks in the house, because they all seem to work in a different way. My watch, my sort of clock for class, lots of holding of buttons and beeps. Right, let's take it to seated, actually. So we're sitting on our bed, sitting on our mat. Let's hold the back of our thighs. See, I'm having a little wiggle just to get right up on my sitting bones. You could have your thighs going out to the sides if that feels more comfortable here. I'm okay like this. The feet can be like this or downwards. And we're just going to initially just lean back a little and let our arms straighten. Not throwing my head back, it's just in line with the body. Breathing. Whenever I feel I will need a breath rather than holding my breath. Now slightly different. So I'm going to stay upright and I'm going to send this part as my sort of high waist. It's my waistline. It's a bit where if I bend at the side, there'd be a crease or a fold. I'm going to send that back. So I'm going to take a breath in now. And as I breathe out, I'm pulling my belly back and I'm pulling that part of my back backwards, but I'm not going like that and rolling onto my bum and sort of further down here. I'm just pulling that part of my back slightly backwards like her, and then I'm going to pull into my legs here and pull myself up. Oh, super straight. Breath in. Hope you're like that as well. And then this softening and pulling back. And I'm taking a breath in, pulling upwards. Last one. Breathing out, pulling the back of my waistband backwards, and then sitting up, having a little wiggle. I want my bum to be sort of nice and spread out. Any extra bits that need to come out, they can come out too. Going to hinge back again straight, but this time I'm going to open an arm, say hello to you all, and then come back to the centre, and then hello to the back of the room. Just opening this arm out. Now you might not want to go as far, it might just be like this. It might be you feel you can lean further. If you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, just a gentle lean back is fine. Keeping tall all the time. So we're not letting everything squish. We're keeping upright. Last one. And then we're going to take it all the way back to lying down. Now, if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, turn onto your side first. Take yourself down. Then roll onto your back. Otherwise, if you want to, just lever yourself back, leaning onto your arms. If you haven't got any spinal issues, that's fine. We're going to lengthen the legs. And I'd like you to take your toes up and down. As I do this, the socks start to come off. because it's really pressing against the back of my heels. I'm just pressing my arms downwards and I'm a little wriggle because I'm just trying to lengthen my spine on the mat so I can feel my body going up and down a little bit. And then I'm going to walk a leg down and down and down just for a little bit of extra length. Right. And from here, turn my palms upwards. Let's let the feet rest. I'm turning my head one side and another. And I'm just using the rolliness, the roundness of the back of my head rather than a lot of extra effort. And then I'm going to bend my legs, just sliding the feet upwards, just pushing my socks back on. Lengthen downwards a little here. Oh, that's it. Right, now I'd like you to have your little fingers pressing into the mat. It might be your palms are slightly open, or you might be like this sort of chopper position. But your little fingers are just sliding down and pressing a little into the mat, if that's okay for you. Bring your feet a little bit closer, breath in. And as you breathe out, start to bring your pubic bone towards your nose. Feel your back around the back of your waistline start to sink downwards. And then breathe in, let everything relax and roll forwards. Breathe out, tilt again. Lower back sinks downward, your belly sinks downwards here. And then it rolls forwards. One more. And then I want you to make it a little bit bigger and push through your feet, but keep your bottom relaxed. And then you'll find there's a little bit of clearance. My hands are almost under. I'm just going to take it a little higher. And now the sacrum, the bony bit of my bottom, is off the floor. Now lift your hips up. Hold it there. And slowly, slowly take your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, back to the floor until you can feel that sacrum, that bony triangle bit of your bottom down on the mat. Let's take a breath in. Breathing out, tilt, so pubic bone towards nose. Feeling the back of your waistband going down to the floor. And now the bum has just got this little upwards movement. Push into your feet. Let's take it higher, 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 as high as you want to go. And then slowly down, 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 down. And then take your arms out. Let your knees sway. Let your head go the other way. Using the rolliness of your head and just gently pressing into the feet. You tend to press, well, you do press the opposite foot. So I'm pressing my right foot here as my knees go over to the left. And then I press gently into my left foot as my knees go over this way. One more each way. And then we're going to go into all fours, and I'm going to show you different positions for different needs. So the classic all fours position is like a table. So your hands are under your shoulders. Now, this may be an issue on your knees, and you can use the mat to help, or you can put a cushion under your knees. Also an issue for your wrists, definitely an issue for my wrists. I like to roll my mat, and then my fingers hang off, and you can even do it. This is my favourite. So it's almost like a real slopey step. So much more comfortable for the wrists. You can do the same for your knees, but you may be thinking, not a chance, my knees don't like this. If you're happy like this, we're going to start cat-cowing, starting from your bottom. If you're not happy, we're going to take it upwards. So taking it to a chair. Now my chair at the moment could push that way. I'm not going to push forwards. I'd rather you had a chair that was against a wall, a chest of drawers. Now that's the same shape. Bit of softness in my knees. Could have straight legs if you feel comfortable. I'm comfortable with straight knees, soft knees. I've got my hands around the side because like this feels too much for my wrists. I'm just grabbing around the side, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Like cat-cow movement. So it's like I'm just lowering my bottom downwards and then letting that spread up till I get that scaredy cat back. And then I'm going to reverse it, starting to show everybody my lovely bottom. At the end, my head and chest come up. Now you could also do this against something a little higher. So if I just walk towards this and straighten myself up, I come over here, this is also a little higher. And I take myself to the nearest sort of approximation of this shape. So I've still got that tabletop shape. So that's me sticking my bottom out and just giving it a little wiggle. And then I'm going to lower my bottom, lengthen it, tucking it under, whichever you like to say. Puff everything up until my head is bowed down. And then reverse it from the bottom. Got my soft legs, feel nice for that. Just keep going with that. So all those positions work beautifully. You could even not use a support and have your hands on your thighs. Definitely like a bit of a bent leg for that though, so that you can send your bottom back a little bit. I think my favourite, I quite like the chair version myself. So the next thing we're going to do with this is rock forwards and backwards a little. So just taking the weight backwards and forwards. You might have a favourite bit. I like this bit. My legs get a lovely stretch. I'm going to straighten them out and give them a little bit of a wiggle. Not so keen on the hands, but my wrists need it. They need to have some strength, even if it's not their favourite thing. If I was doing this on the floor, I'd perhaps take my knees a little further back. And you could even go right into a lean back or even forwards that way, so that your hips come down to the ground. Your back might like that. And if I was doing that over here, same thing. Pushing back almost into like a downward dog position there, and then coming forwards, might be on my toes. Like a little plank. And it's just a different way to do the same thing. So if your body doesn't like a particular position, there is usually a workaround. I love workarounds. In Mobilates, that's what we sort of specialise in, really. Making exercise work for everybody, no matter where your pain, your discomfort is, that place where you feel you can't do something, we turn it around so that you can. Let's make this the last one, and then come back to your all fours position. I'm going to stay here at the chest of drawers, and now I want you to pretend you've got a tail and just turn around and have a little look at it. And then turn around, have a little look at your tail on the other side, and you're moving your bum like you're trying to see that tail. And I'll show you that in all fours. If you think of Easter or a little bunny tail, have a little dog tail. Just heard my little dog just come in from her 4 o'clock or 4:30 walk. Last one. And now we're going to take it back to seated. And it might be seated on the floor. It might be seated on your bed. Let me know how you got on with your all fours position, whether you went to the floor or whether you tried the chair or a chest of drawers or onto a table. Let me know what worked for you. But let's take our legs into a wide-ish shape. You could have your hands behind, or you might be sitting against something so you could be supported behind you. And let's let the feet roll in and out. Could do both together, one at a time. Just letting them go in and out. And as you're doing this, instead of letting everything slump and melt, we'll push away and have a bit of length. Just getting them out and in, a bit of rotation into the hip. And then bring your legs towards you, feet towards each other, a little softer, and just let them have a little bit of movements. It's like a wing. You might put your arms underneath if it feels that it feels more secure. You could put your hands around your ankles. We're trying to sit as tall as we can. I am not perfectly tall. My back isn't quite straight enough. really I should be sitting on something. If I show you from the side, I can feel there's a little sort of roundness here, and it needs to be a little bit further up. And then let your legs rest down. So it might be in a cross-legged position or your legs wide. So wherever your favorite is, I'm going to go to my cross leg. And then we're going to place one hand on our knees and the other hand's just going to reach behind for a gentle twist. So this is okay if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, because we're not really pushing it. We've got this arm here just giving us a little bit of a sort of security. And we've just turned, it's about a quarter turn. Now, if you haven't got osteoporosis or osteopenia and you want to go further, you can just reach this hand behind you a little bit more. And now I'm looking over there to that corner. Breathe in and breathe out. Come to the center. Have a little wiggle. Let's go for the other side. So I'm keeping my hand on this knee. Just use it to do a little push round. That's my quarter turn. So from being ahead to looking to where I've got a window here. And if you wanted a bit more and it's okay for your spine, I'm just going to take my arm, just going to aim towards where that curtain is there. I feel like I'm going around a protractor here and I'm going to about 110 degrees. And then back to the center. Let's give our shoulders a roll. Take your arms out to the side, palms outwards. Breathe in and scoop up the air. And your arms are coming up or ahead, just somewhere where your hands can meet. And then you're breathing out, bringing it into your chest. Give yourself a clap. And just come a little closer. Oh, Fran, that was that. You enjoyed. Oh, that's great. And you can always catch up later. I think that sounds like you're going to go, and catch up later. Do let me know how the rest of you got on with that, because although this class is just about to finish, I'm going to come and check these comments and I can give you any feedback, any ideas that you want. I'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.